Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Rules Horror. Story 1. Disney Labs Rules Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Welcome back to Disney Labs. Today, you'll be taking care of rejected Disney characters from our very first motion picture. You see, after the success of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937, Walt Disney wanted these cartoon characters to appear in the real world with us. So he created the very first Disney Labs in the Disney Studios, where the animation building is today. With some help from some of his trustworthy animators, they brought the characters from the movie to life. However, something was off. They looked a bit off-model, they sounded a little weird, and they were hostile toward the humans. After an incident where rejected Grumpy snapped an innocent animator's neck, Walt decided that they had to be locked up away from society, where no one would ever find out about them. So like how the movie started the entire Disney movie library, the Snow White experiments started Disney Labs. Disney Labs rules for rejected Snow White. You'll find her in her cell asleep in a glass coffin like in the movie. Please be very quiet. She's getting some rest. If you wake her up, she'll force-feed you the poisoned apple. True love's kiss won't save you now. If however she wakes up on her own and she sees you, she'll ask if you want to know a secret, and to promise not to tell. Say yes. If you say no, she'll drag you to a wishing well and drop you down into it. It's not water that's down there. If you say yes, then she'll tell you a secret about Disney Labs that's probably not true. Probably. Just ignore what she says and don't think about it too hard. If she starts to sing, quickly cover your ears. While her singing is beautiful, it's also hypnotic and could lead you to your death. Disney Labs rules for the rejected Seven Dwarfs. Rejected Doc is your protector, and will protect you from rejected Snow White. Do whatever he tells you, and you'll be fine. Refuse to follow his orders, and he'll alert rejected Snow White to give you a long and agonizing death. Make sure you stay on rejected Grumpy's good side. He has severe anger issues, and there's no telling what he could do in his blind rage. Just make sure to hide and to avoid everything he throws in your direction, such as pickaxes, shovels, and other mining equipment. Rejected Sneezy's sneezes are powerful but deadly. If you're in the path of one of his sneezes, I hope you like your skin not attached to you. Rejected Bashful does not like to be seen. If you accidentally look at him, then there's nothing we can do for you. Make sure rejected Happy is always happy and in a good mood. If he's frowning, try your best to cheer him up. If nothing works, then let him torture you. He'll be happy shortly after he's done peeling off your fingernails. Always make sure rejected Sleepy is sleeping. Never wake him up. If he wakes up, then it's too late. Pray to whatever God you believe in, and hope they make your death quick and painless. Rejected Dopey is passive and won't hurt you. Just give him lots of attention and be nice to him, and in return, he might give you a rare and exquisite diamond. Rules for rejected Evil Queen. She's almost always in her hag form, which is horrifying to look at. When you see her approaching you, look away. One look at her, and you'll die of shock. If she likes you, she'll transform into her beautiful form, and will give you a potion of sorts. Do not hesitate to take it. It will help you later. If you do not take the potion, then she'll hypnotize you into taking and eating the poisoned apple. Always tell rejected Evil Queen that she looks very pretty and beautiful. If she senses that you're telling the truth, then she'll offer you another potion. If she senses you're lying, she'll immediately transform into the hag form, not giving you any time to cover your eyes. And that's all the rules you need for the rejected Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs characters. It's a lot more characters than usual, but we know you can do it. See you real soon. Story 2. How to Survive the Doge SMP. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Start with a greeting, say something simple like hello, and address the owner, Doge Man, or Doge, in your greeting, Failure to do so results in a kick from the server. This is the least of your problems. 1a. Rejoin the server if you are kicked. Failure to do so should result in you stabbing yourself, as what they will do will be worse. 2. If you need to hop off or want to hop off for any reason, include a goodbye and a good reasoning. 3. Never mention these rules in the chat, as Doge will not take kindly to you trying to help others. 4. If you require help, message me using the private chat, as Doge will only hunt you faster if he knows you need my help. 4a. He does not care if I try to help, as it's more of a challenge for him. 5. Barricade any doors and windows in case of emergency. 6. Do not attempt to attack Doge, as he does not keep kind to this. Failure results in the same way as Rule 1a. 7. Do not attempt to go to the chords 69, 69, 69, as he finds these funny and will lurk around there. 8. Make a base, for the love of God, it protects you somewhat. 9. Do not attempt to kill the Ender Dragon, he won't let you. Failure results in Rule 6. 10. Keep a gun on you, he is still human. After all. 11. Do not follow any rules that are fully lowercased, as these are tricks for Doge. 12. Be sure to tell everyone in your server these rules. 13. Follow the Minecraft rules, common sense. Thanks for reading, have a fun time on the server. Story 3. Ugh, welcome to the McDonald's drive-thru. Listen before you order, I gotta read to you the rules. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Listen, I know, you're hungry as hell, and you don't want me to go on a tangent, but it's a company policy for the night shift workers to read this out to any of you. Because if you don't follow them, you get killed by some weird things. Man, I don't get this shit, the manager just handed it to me when I clocked in. Alright, it's weird, but I just wanna keep my job. It's 3 AM, I have a hangover, and I'm pretty burnt out tonight, dude. Just listen for a quick second, and let me just say the rules. He said that it could save your life too. And, even more, I'm following a completely different set of rules too, so we gotta make this quick, cause if we take too long, I'll get killed by some crazy dude made of ice in the freezer, or some 20-foot skinwalker / shadowman / cryptid monster thing. Just let me say alright? Rule 1. Don't eat in the parking lot. 2 reasons for this actually. One of them is because we keep getting these drunk drug-addicted homeless people. They go in, and tap on your windows and ask for some spare change. Whenever this happens, we gotta walk out and hit them with brooms to get them to fuck off. Oh, and also because if you don't, the ground might collapse, and you'd fall into an endless never-ending sinkhole till you die. So don't eat in the parking lot, park somewhere else, or at home. I got a fucking test tomorrow, and I have to read this Reddit creepypasta horror story shit. Rule 2. Don't order the chicken nuggets. There's nothing actually dangerous about this, we're just out of stock lol. Rule 3. If we get your order wrong, just deal with it. We're struggling pretty hard here, alright? One of our workers just got mauled to death, since she made a Happy Meal. The toy, which was a Jurassic Park velociraptor, came to life, and tore her fucking face off. It was crazy FR. That's just an example of the shit we go through on a nightly basis, so can you not come in here, act all entitled, and make our shift that much worse? Plus, the rules say we can't talk to any customers who are in, just in case they are fake or some bullshit like that. And don't bother coming in next Friday, we're closed for Janice's funeral. Rule 4. Card only, please. We're so busy, dealing with this supernatural stuff, so can you just pay with card, and move on? Oh, along with that, any cash that we get, I'm not joking, starts talking and asking to be spent, only in this fucking store. If I have to spend another hour listening to 7 Abraham Lincolns, 1 Hamilton and 5 Washingtons having a heated, vulgar debate on the best deluxe clothing brands, I'll go mad. Rule 5. Don't exit your car until you leave the premises. We find it kinda crazy when we see the security cameras, but there's like, a Wendigo, like literally 2 feet away from your car, it like, camouflages in the bushes, and like, when you leave the car, and it sees you, it runs over, and like, eats you. Occasionally on breaks we throw some meat at it, it's chill as long as you don't leave the car nearby it. Rule 5. The Happy Meals. Okay, this seems odd, but whenever you get a Happy Meal, like, whatever toy you get, becomes real. I saw a dude get a free car from the Hot Wheels promotion, but like, at the same time last week we got Godzilla, it's a miracle this place is still open. Rule 6. Do not throw grenades at the staff if your order is wrong. Long story, but it has happened several times. Don't do this because that is a dick move. Plus we have a McArmory for if shit hits the fan. So if you wanna pull up, better be ready for us to pull out our MCAR-15S and fill you with some McLeod to go. Rule 7. Do not ask for salt packets. We get our packets from a half-catering half-chemical distribution facility, and there was a mix-up, so the salt is actually strychnine. You could die, but yet again it could improve the flavor, your choice bro. Rule 8. Don't ask for the manager. He's too busy in the basement, trying to make sure the entire place doesn't explode from a possible gas leak. I hate this job, but it's the only thing I'm qualified for, the pay is pretty good, and there's a few benefits. Putting your life at risk for a fucking dental plan. I knew a dude, Matt, he was like, crazy, like genuinely insane. I remember once, he went on a smoke break, and that Wendigo showed up, and he literally pulled resting moves on that poor fucker. It was hilarious but he got fired for animal cruelty, or some shit like that since HR didn't like him. Yeah. That's it, like, hopefully you can, like, follow them, and not, like, die. Now, I gotta take your order, or I'll get mauled to death with whatever monster has now mutated to life inside the freezer, or worse, I'll be getting fired. Now, what do you want to order? Story 4. Subject 3. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Her feet pounded down the metal hallway. Red lights flashed, shifting the world around her, but she knew these corridors like the back of her hand. She kicked off a wall to turn the corner faster, and caught the doorframe to swing herself into a room on the left. Punching a panel on the wall, the door shut silently behind her, and the footsteps reverberating down the hall stopped, replaced by her heavy breathing echoing in the empty room. She took a second to ready herself before pulling the key out of her pocket. Despite the time she took, her hands shook as she tried to get it in the keyhole of the silver cabinet in front of her, finally succeeding and revealing a large folder. Opening it, she saw a series of tabs. Subject: Containment Breach. Loss of contact with base. Loss of general manager or other official. Loss of power to station. Other emergency. Bane Protocol. She wasn't sure which to choose. So much had gone wrong. One thing at a time though. She turned to the first tab and started reading. In the event that a subject breaches containment, please adhere to the following rules. These are written to assist anyone in resolving a containment breach, and assumes the reader has no prior experience caring for and studying these entities. It is still important that you do not skip past rules which you are already familiar with. Complacency kills. Activate the escape alarm in the relevant sector. From the control room, this is to be completed by personnel at the security desk. From the relevant sector, any of the red emergency alarms can be pulled. If the escape occurred in Sector 1, turn to page 2. If the escape occurred in Sector 2, turn to page 3. If the escape occurred in Sector 3, turn to page 5. If the escape occurred in Sector 4, turn to page 6. If the escape occurred in the lockdown sector, turn to page 7. The emergency alarm had already been pulled, seeing as it was actively going off, and she was in Sector 3. She hurriedly flipped to the relevant page. Containment Breach Protocol for Sector 3. Subject 3 Bronzewing is entirely reliant on sound. We believe they have an organ in their torso capable of producing powerful sound waves. The wings for which they are named are not capable of flight, but instead focus the sound produced by these speaker organs to stun their prey. They can also redirect and magnify incoming sound. Subject 3 lacks eyes, and instead uses echolocation, much like a bat. We believe they use their speakers to generate the sound used for this, but add to it any incoming sound to improve their picture quality and potentially see around corners. This is our only explanation for the behaviors observed. Our specimen lacks speaker organs yet is able to function seemingly normally when surrounded by noise. Containment procedures are as follows. Do not make any noise. The alarm in this sector has been set to silent for this very reason. If you hear an alarm sound, move away from it as silently as possible. If you hear what you believe to be a human, recall your daily briefing. A copy should be kept on your person at all times for quick reference. If you do not have one, move away from the sound. If you hear an animal, move away from it. Make your way to, and use, a lure panel. These are blue boxes located in every room. Recall the current date. Please turn the page. This was all fairly standard, and she found the lure panel on the wall across from her. It contained a series of switches, along with a small screen and a keypad. She typed in the date and the screen flashed to life, e.g. 22B. She flicked the relevant switches and waited. The lights continued to flash. Suddenly, a horrifying screech echoed through the corridor. It sounded like a tortured animal, sometimes morphing into something almost human. She clamped her hands over her ears as a primal urge to run slammed into her. It was everywhere. The horrible screaming coursed over, around, and through her, unending. It chilled her blood and sparked her synapses as she fought her instincts. Shaking, pale, and hyperventilating, her eyes wide, she finally broke, hitting the door controls and sliding the door open to reveal she froze, one fear overriding another. A pure bronze creature, supporting itself on two legs, had just passed the door. A long thin tail flicked behind it, and two large, wing-like appendages perched on what could only be described as its shoulders. Its torso had two deep scars on the side, although she was mercifully saved from seeing the front. The creature hunched forward, much like a bird would, but on legs thick, strong, and with an extra joint, giving the appearance of a second knee which contorted horribly as it walked. She held her breath, knowing that the smallest sound would give her away. If it weren't for the still present wailing, her heartbeat would have already betrayed her. The beast disappeared around the corner, leaving dented metal footprints behind it. After what felt like an eternity, the lights returned to normal and the howling finally, mercifully stopped. Shaking, she collapsed back into the room, catching the door control on her way to the floor. She couldn't do anything but lie there, panting. So few people had seen Bronzewing and survived. If they hadn't been in an active emergency, it might have been something she dwelled on, but she had to keep moving. After 5 minutes, she pulled herself up. The control center was just down a level and would let her get a much better understanding of the trouble they were in. Plan in hand, she opened the door again, putting her face to face with a bronze maw, taking up most of the beach ball-sized face in front of her. Hundreds of sharp, needle-dot-like teeth seemed to grow as the gaping jaw widened. To her credit, she didn't even let out a gasp of surprise. But no one can stop their blood. Bronzewing left no blood to splatter on the manual, its page turned over as it fell to the floor. Immediately confirm containment of Subject 3, and secure doors using the lure panel. If Subject 3 passed a room you were in during its return to its enclosure, complete Step 6 as quickly as possible, have a colleague confirm its completion, and leave the area as soon as possible as an extra precaution. It has been known to return to locations it has found prey. Do not attempt to lure Subject 3 back to its enclosure using any method other than the one outlined above. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.